Super happy to have you on this series of podcasts we're running for Pimento to better understand how human creative people and human minds work with AI, what their creative process, what the limitations, and how the human also influence the AI. You've been a heavy user of Pimento since a while now, and you've super proficient in many AI tools. And I think many people follow you for this about how to prompt, how to create super good commercial images and very creative images. With a background in poetry that you have, which make your prompts very special.
Thank you.
So I'm super happy to have this talk with you and to deep dive into one of your clients' project that you wanted to talk about. So
Yes.
can you tell
Yes.
us?
So again, thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of Pimento, as you well know. I was really excited because there was a client that needed a very specific use case, and I could not get it done in MidJourney. As you know, I started out in MidJourney years ago and I'm very good at it, but it is limited. And Pimento actually got the job done. So I wanted to talk about that and show exactly the creative process that I used, show some of the MidJourney and talk about the brief and show you what I did with Pimento, which was amazing. I want to talk about how Pimento's creative brief feature and the prompting that happens in there is focused on very fine-tuned and optimized for commercial use cases, and prompt coherency for very specific creative briefs, which was mind-blowing. I loved it. I want to talk about also how there is a difference between prompting individually in a narrow way where you can just prompt for an image, or prompting in the creative brief, and the difference between that. So let me pull.
Sounds like a great agenda.
Yeah. Let me pull up my creative. So let me show you what I was dealing with. So the client had a meeting one day. I had one day to take care of this for her. This was her. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so here is the original image that they were working with, that she had done herself in MidJourney. The client is a postnatal luxury spa in New York for recovery for postpartum women with newborns. The trouble she was having, as you can see immediately, is the baby is too old. It's not a newborn. The chauffeur is ill-positioned. And she had issues when we started prompting with her list of other things that she wanted, which I don't have in front of me right now. There was a very strict list of things she needed. Maybe it'll come back to me as I talk about it in the other images. But the point is, she needed this fixed. The chauffeur was too close, and we started working on it.
Perfect. But maybe one question. Do you know what the image was used for, will be used for? Is the commercial?
Yeah, so this was for advertising for this luxury spa-like experience with one of the services was a chauffeur service that picks you up from the hospital to the spa.
Okay, so that's why the chauffeur is so important.
Yes, the chauffeur was very important, and what he was wearing was important, and how he was standing in position was important, and the realism of a baby being a newborn was important, and how she was dressed was very important. So there were many little aspects that had to be tweaked. So we discussed, I said, because I was on such a tight deadline, we discussed if I could not get it done in this style, would she be okay with photorealism? And she was very happy to see where we could, as long as we communicated a luxurious, urban, New York type of vibe. Although the client liked the style, she was okay with it. The client was okay with it. So what I did was I went into MidJourney, and I did a lot of work in MidJourney where I tried to, go off of her image, and it was really very difficult to do. There were a lot of modesty issues that came up. She needed her dress. She didn't want her to look like she's wearing a towel. She wanted it a little more fashionable. She didn't want it so cartoony. So I ended up
Two questions I have there, Sherry.
Yes.
How did you iterate in MidJourney? Is it only on the prompt? And second question is, were you like live talking with her, because you have lots of back and forth? It seems like a
Yes.
lot and lots of back and forth with the client.
Yes. I only agreed to do the job if she was available to iterate back and forth.
Perfect.
So we did do that, and we had a lot of feedback. I basically worked hand in hand with her, and so I iterated, showed her some process, and she either liked it or she didn't. There was one that was close, but she felt it was too cartoony, and it wasn't enough of this 1950s retro vibe. As you can see, there's so many problems with the positioning and the way they're dressed. You can see the progression. So I got to,
and maybe so just for also
yes,
for information, because we're talking on the day or in the days where MidJourney V7 is supposed to come out.
yes.
This was done on MidJourney V6, right?
It's a V6.1, yes,
V6.
only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, you know, we don't know what MidJourney will do next, but in the end, I helped her. So I got it to like this point. She wanted a very specific knot in the head. So I did get that. I made the baby swaddled and newborn, but it kept losing prompt coherency in the sense that I couldn't get the chauffeur in it. And editing in the chauffeur was very challenging in afterwards. So I ended up trying to do some photorealism for her, which also had a lot of prompt coherency issues. As you can see, the positioning in the hands, the chauffeur, the car, just a lot of prompt coherency issues. The closest I got was, you know, getting, I'm just going to show you some of them so you can see. Aspect ratio helped a little bit, not always. This was one of them that I ended up giving her, but Pimento did a much better job. Pimento just did a much better job, and I'll show you how. Okay, just to show you a little more. These were too cartoony, and these were too unrealistic and romantic. And so let's go to the Pimento. I have, right. All right, I mean, I wanted to show you that I actually developed this style in MidJourney, so that was sort of iterating off her 1950s theme. And I tried to use this. I ended up doing a lot of blending to get to these, to like this one, you know, this type of thing. So I don't know if it's in this prompt, but a lot of the prompts had a lot of styles that I built up in order to get that vibe. But again, like I said, I kept losing the other features with the woman.
Yeah, especially because the client had a very, very precise idea of what she wanted.
Yes, correct. So I ended up abandoning that, and I said, let me try Pimento. And Pimento did an amazing job. She was very happy with these kinds of images because it communicated. These are not the ultimate ones that I used to find them, but let me find them in a second. Oops, I'll go back here. Okay, you'll edit this out for but we ended up with something like this, which I cannot blow up, but
yeah,
I'll just download it right here. Oh, you can see it here. I ended up fixing this in another image, and it upscaled. So she liked this one, and she liked, where's the ones that I downloaded? Purchases, here we go. Yes, she liked this one a lot.
Yeah, the one you showed just before.
Yeah, I showed it before, correct.
Yeah.
So, but I want to talk about why this worked. Oh, and this one they loved also. Can't blow it up. Can you see it though? Is it clear on the screen?
Yeah, we're clear.
Okay. She needed a hat. I was able to edit the hat on the chauffeur. She wanted that. She wanted her to look upscale New Yorker. She ended up changing the color of the clothing herself because we were on a really tight deadline. But I got almost every element that she needed in here. He was standing respectfully as a chauffeur would. She was getting out of a luxury car. It was in a city setting. She was dressed modestly. the baby was swaddled, it was a newborn, many different details that she needed in there, and Pimento was able to handle it. And the best feature about what I loved that Pimento was able to do.
The question is how did you get up to
right? So
having this?
Right. So let me find my screen again. So my most favorite thing here. I'll go back to my workspace, home. How do I go back to? I always forget how.
You click on home. Yes.
Oh, there we go. The best feature that helped me get all the details was using a brief prompt. But I'll tell you, it completely changed everything when I started prompting. Instead of prompting individually as a prompt, when I did a brief, I had a much better coherency for all the details that I need. And I put the details plus the general brief in the creative brief. And Pimento is optimized for these commercial use cases, so it understood in a global way and a granular way what I was looking for. And then once I had something to work with, I see that I did do some prompting as well, but what I think I did is I copied and pasted from what was working and then put it into a prompt because I knew that it worked already. So I kind of played around back and forth with creative brief, getting some general coherent ideas with all the things that I needed. And then I ended up prompting individually, where you could see here, I put in other details that I needed. I would use the editor to change a little bit of the detail or reprompt. See, this one doesn't say swaddled. So I would reprompt because I needed the swaddled sleeping baby. And then I played with it but Pimento did a much better job keeping all the details that I needed in the creative brief. And then minor editing to get the hat in or change a hand or fix little details.
Yeah, very, very super clear. Maybe for everyone to get what the brief is and how does it work, because it sounds a bit of like a magic. The aim, as you said, of the brief is not to start from a very precise prompt, but basically start from a broader idea, like a broader creative brief. And then we optimize models in Pimento for them to deep dive into different ideas. So that each time you do brief, you have 40 images, which have different prompts, which we found in different areas or that we have been optimized for. And the aim is to give you different creative paths, so that then you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4 of them and deep dive into them with prompts.
Another thing that was great is that the suggestions in the prompt that Pimento offers, which MidJourney does not do, is another way of the layers of optimization that you have built in there is, for example, it prompted the chauffeur. We had a lot of issues in prompting individually in MidJourney and as well in the individual prompt in Pimento, where the chauffeur was too close or too romantically positioned like a husband. And it look at this prompt that it suggested as the chauffeur extends his polite professional limousine chauffeur service. When I went into, I must have gone back and forth. It's hard to trace your steps, but you have this feature where it'll make suggestions to enhance the prompt. Yes. And it suggested some really amazing ideas that I would have come up eventually on my own, but it made the process so much faster. So what I love about Pimento and the point of all this is that it gives you a lot of tools as a creative working in the commercial space to get the job done with very granular detail. And I did this in a couple hours.
Yeah, keeping the exact idea that your client was looking for. Yes. And having a high quality photorealistic image.
Yes. And it was really a photo shoot. Now, you can see this was too dressy. She needed to be more casual. But I was able to progress very quickly to get exactly what she needed in a very tight deadline. And I was really happy to be able to do that.
Thank you so much for this testimony. It's actually, we're working a lot on improving the brief because we really do think at Pimento that it's a good way for people not mastering all AIs and with I don't have all the time to iterate on the prompt to get exactly what they want or to get more ideas, because AI is also a lot about finding like accidents and creative accidents and finding good ideas and then be more creative enough, even more. So it's a very interesting testimony, and it's a very also interesting way you think about with AI, because there is a whole human part in analyzing the images, transforming the brief, transforming the prompt, and getting closer and closer to what your client does. What I also think is very interesting is how you keep doing back and forth with her, so that you keep her in the loop, which I guess was not possible before AI, because now you have very precise and very short back and forth cycles with the client, so that she gets exactly what she knows, or maybe actually so that she gets something else that she wanted at the beginning, but that you brought your own creativity into her mind. So thank you so much for sharing this experience with Pimento, and hope there will be lots of new ones. So
I should tell you that I have some consulting clients where I'm, really excited how Pimento will be able to help implement workflows like product placement and training their proprietary products. This is a very big Amazon seller. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited about Pimento. You guys are
everyone who's also watching the video and needs a creative to work with Pimento, just talk to Sherry and she'll do great stuff for you.
Thank you so much, Florent. You guys are rocking it.
Thank you. See you. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, take care.